Mark your calendars. New York City sets a date for fully reopening. Why Mayor de Blasio says restrictions could be gone before July 4th.
While the showers wind down, the winds will start to pick up, and it'll be a chilly wind. All the details coming up.
And fine dining 1,200 feet above the ground. We're going to give you an inside peek at Peak. This is News 4 Now for April 29th. I'm Adam Cooperstein, and we're ready for it. We've been ready for it. The light at the end of the tunnel is getting brighter for New York City because Mayor de Blasio says the city will be ready to fully reopen July 1st. His new goal means removing COVID restrictions that have been in place for well over a year. We're talking full capacity at restaurants, bars, shops, hair salons, gyms, arenas, museums, and theaters.
Our plan is to fully reopen New York City on July 1st. We are ready. This is going to be the summer of New York City.
July 1. You have May, you have June. You know, what happens in May, what happens in June? I would like to get the reopening, hopeful reopening date before that. I don't want to wait that long. I think if we do what we have to do, we can be reopened earlier.
Governor Cuomo, in a surprise response, says he believes the city could reopen even earlier. Mayor de Blasio said he did not consult the state about his plan, and he doesn't have unilateral power to lift those remaining restrictions anyway. Former New York City mayor and personal lawyer to President Trump, Rudy Giuliani, says he's innocent after his house and his office got raided by the FBI. Those searches were part of the investigation into Giuliani's dealings with Ukraine. Federal agents raided his Park Avenue office and Madison Avenue home. A source says Giuliani turned over a cell phone, an iPad, and a laptop, along with other devices seized at his office. In Washington, the FBI also seized the phone of lawyer Victoria Tensing, who has ties to Giuliani and an indicted Ukrainian oligarch. Giuliani's son Andrew blasted the search.
If this can happen to the president's lawyer, this can happen to any one of us. Enough is enough.
Giuliani says he offered to cooperate in the search, and the case, by the way, is not new. It dates back to last year, and Giuliani denies that while working as President Trump's attorney, he improperly pressured Ukrainian officials to dig up dirt on President Biden and his family before the election. We have new video of a man wanted in a string of anti-Semitic attacks in the Bronx. Police say this is surveillance video that shows the man who has vandalized 4 synagogues. He's caused fear in the community, and police say hundreds of dollars in damage, smashing windows in Riverdale over the weekend and again early on Monday. Another boost in the race to vaccinate. New York State is making it even easier to get your shots now. Starting today, all state-run mass vaccine sites will be open to all New Yorkers 16 and up without an appointment needed. The move comes about a week after all city-run sites opened up for walk-in vaccinations. Governor Murphy says New Jersey will not follow the CDC's recommendations on easing mask guidelines, even though New York and Connecticut are. Vaccinated or not, Murphy says all Garden State residents should continue to cover their faces both outdoors and indoors, especially when social distancing isn't possible. During his briefing on Wednesday, Governor Murphy called wearing a mask the right thing to do. Well, starting in June, New York City is going to try to lure back some tourists, and a new report says that will not come a moment too soon. The state comptroller reports 89,000 tourism jobs were lost during the pandemic. Also lost $60 billion in revenue. Visitors appear to be trickling back in. You can see it in Times Square, but industry experts say, of course, much more is needed.
It's the 4th largest employer in the city now. If we don't pay attention to it, it'll be the 12th largest employer, and that's not good for New York City. That's not good for Times Square.
It's feared that Big Apple tourism won't shine at its pre-pandemic levels for another 4 years. In 2019, visitors helped generate more than $80 billion. An eye-opening video highlights the importance for drivers to slow down in construction work zones. Look at this. A car came barreling down the shoulder of the New York State Thruway last week and sideswiped a maintenance truck, then spun out of control. This was up near Albany, and get this, the construction crew had just hopped back into their truck seconds before. Thankfully, neither the driver or anyone else was hurt. After a taste of summer yesterday, those April showers do return. So, Maria, sounds like we're going to want to keep those umbrellas handy.
It was a nice little summer break, but you know what? We do need these spring showers, running a little bit of a rain deficit, and we'll add a little bit more to the bucket as we go through the rest of this evening. But notice, while we are cooler than yesterday, we're still really mild, above average, and temperatures staying in the 70s through this evening. Keep the umbrella handy, though, if you have any plans to be out and about. Temperatures in the mid and upper 60s through midnight. Still looking at a chance of showers, and you guessed it, by tomorrow morning there may be some lingering showers, although the steady rain, the threat for thunderstorms, that will be wrapping up. 58 for the low in the city, 55 in Poughkeepsie, 53 in Sussex. Another change you'll notice with the winds early on in the afternoon today. They were out of the south and brisk. By tomorrow morning, turning more to the west. Winds will be the big issue going forward for the rest of the day on Friday.
Are you ready to take dining to new heights? How about 101 floors to be exact? New York Live gives you an inside look now at Peak.
If you are looking for a little escape from the streets, as so many of us are, we have the perfect thing for you today. It's somewhere really special. We're checking out Peak at Hudson Yards. Hit it! Here we go. Whoa. Wow.
Hi, welcome to Peak.
Hi, Chris. I'm gonna take this off since we're 6 feet apart, but I'm very excited to finally see Peak.
Well, I'm so excited you're here and I can't wait to show you around. So Peak is a contemporary American restaurant featuring seasonal ingredients. We practice warm hospitality and great service. We just so happen to have this amazing view, which is, a pretty nice thing that a lot of restaurants don't have.
Pretty spectacular. It's like, oh, we just happen to have this. What floor are we on?
You are on the 101st floor at 30 Hudson Yards. So we are in the 6th tall skyscraper in New York City. We sit about 1,200 feet above the ground, right above Edge, which is the tallest outdoor observation deck in the Western Hemisphere. So something for everyone, really.
Chef, I thought I was spoiled by the view when I walked in until I saw all the food. This is like a double whammy. It's beautiful and I can't wait to taste it. What do you serve here at Peak?
Thank you. It is a challenge to create food that surpasses the view. We are a modern American restaurant, so looking at our menu and seeing it, we're hyper seasonal and we're really just focused on cooking those ingredients with the utmost love and technique.
So what did you bring out?
Starting here with the appetizers, I have a golden tilefish crudo with a little bit of orange and ahi chili, kohlrabi and apple. The tilefish was caught off the coast of Montauk.
Tastes as good as it looks.
We have our scallops, cauliflower, and caviar, our nice little sunchoke salad, and then moving over into our entrees, we have a Maine lobster with beetroot and an almond bisque, roasted chicken, squash and bacon, our fettuccine and black truffle.
Vacation in the sky.
Chef, this was truly incredible, and I kind of felt like I got a little escape up here today, so thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for stopping by.
Oh, I'll be back. I'm gonna be a regular.
Now to an unexpected find in a family photo album. Instead of smiling shots of loved ones, a teenager from Connecticut uncovered previously never before seen images from 9/11. And the photos of that dark day in New York City history were just released to the public for the first time. Here's News 4's Ida Siegel.
Every New Yorker has a story from 9/11, a different perspective obtained through a different lens. Liam Anea wasn't yet born at that time, but he discovered a new perspective recently through the lens of his late great-aunt.
When I saw the photos, I realized that they were taken from also an angle where there's not buildings obstructing the view, really. I realized that I could see what was happening on that day, but at the same time see people in the shot on the ground.
Liam found these forgotten photos after his aunt Marianne Puglisi died. They were left in an unassuming pink album decorated with hearts and flowers. He was shocked to find inside powerful images of the devastation, of the collapse, the plume and the dust. Pictures that had been largely unseen all these years.
This here is the North Tower being hit. I imagine this was probably about a minute or two after it happened. So she would have had probably one of the closest perspectives of that building falling. You can see the plume of the fallen South Tower approaching all these people on the ground here. It's a cloud of death and ash and steel. I don't think there's anything worse.
Marianne Puglisi lived just a couple blocks away here on Greenwich Street. This is her building behind me here. She was all the way up on the 27th floor. And from her terrace, she had an unobstructed view of the Twin Towers so she could take all those pictures.
I think they were unique because most photos that I've seen of the events of that day were taken from the ground or from a distance, and it's hard to see kind of everything in a wide-angle shot.
Liam decided to put the pictures on social media, and soon more than 100,000 people had seen them.
Most people have said that, you know, they were talking about where they were at the time. They were saying God bless the families that were impacted on that day.
And they marveled at how a woman with a view of history was able to document one of our nation's darkest days.
Obviously she was, you know, horrified by what was happening, but she was able to take the photos.
Ida Siegel, News 4, New York.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.